Just gone 20 to 8. A very good morning to you. You're watching TVAM, and our special guest today could be described as one of the grand old men of the British pop music scene, even though he's only around his mid-30s. Nevertheless, his great group, Slade, has been together now for 18 years, and here to tell us about their staying power is lead singer Noddy Holder. Good morning, Noddy.
How are you, Nick?
I'm very fit, thanks. You well?
Bit too early in the day for me, I'm afraid. Not my best time of day.
You showbiz people can't handle it.
I know, it's terrible.
How did you stay together, or have you stayed together for 18 years? Because, I mean, there are groups that split up within months these days.
Well, we sort of get along pretty well, and we enjoy it when we get up there and play in front of an audience. You know, we still get that buzz of working with one another, and I think that's what's kept us together. We never mix with one another socially.
Don't you?
No, we never have, no.
I always imagine, because you've kept your roots in the Midlands, haven't you, mostly, that you all sort of spent your time in the pub together, I think.
No, not at all.
Why have you stayed in the Midlands? Because people do expect super groups to go to live in London or New York or Los Angeles or whatever.
Well, all our mates are still there, and we like the pubs up there, as you say, and the football teams and that. We like going back there. It brings you back down to earth.
Yeah. Because you were booing just now when Mike Morris referred to Walsall being knocked out of the League Cup.
Yeah, well, Walsall, I was born in Walsall. That was my hometown.
Yeah, and you're still living there. Now, tell me about your image over the years, because you were very different when you started, weren't you? You were very sort of skinheady.
Well, that wasn't when we started. We actually started in 1966.
Pre-skinheads,
we sort
of
became skinheads in around 1969, 70. It was just a fashion thing with us that we wanted to set ourselves aside from everybody else, all the other bands that were around, and get ourselves noticed, and it worked.
Yeah, certainly did. You were very raucous and sort of rough, I suppose, weren't you?
Yeah. But we were playing in front of those sort of audiences, you know, skinhead audiences in the ballrooms and clubs.
Yeah.
And we just decided to adopt that fashion.
Yeah, because you made quite a thing about audience participation, hadn't you?
That's always been a big part of our show, you know, is getting the audience involved. We don't like to think that there's a barrier between us and the crowd. It's part of the act. We need that feedback from the crowd to play at our best. Yeah,
there always seems to be that involvement. Whenever you're on television, there seems to be loads of things flying about, and sort of streamers.
We have that effect on people, I'm afraid.
What actually happened to your you're going really well, you had some tremendous hits, and you got sort of 3 #1s straight in, didn't you, and so on.
Yeah.
But you disappeared for a while from the English consciousness. Anyway.
Well, it was about 1976, and we found ourselves getting in a sort of rut. We were getting very stale, getting very bored with it ourselves. We thought we'd done all that we could in Europe. As you say, we'd had all the hit singles and albums. We'd made a movie, and we just didn't see any further we could go. And so the only market that we really hadn't cracked was America. So we went over there to try our hand at cracking that market. And obviously, when we came back to England, people had sort of forgotten about us a little bit, and we were totally unfashionable. The punk explosion had taken place, and we just had to go back to playing the clubs and the ballrooms and universities and bide our time again till our turn came around.
Did you crack America? You didn't really, did you?
No, we never really had a big hit record there, but we couldn't get any radio play on the singles there. They considered the singles were far too rowdy at that time.
Did they?
Yeah. We got a lot more play on our albums, and we sold a lot more albums, and consequently that follows on that live gigs. We always went down a storm over there. But the tide's turned on over there now. The radio is playing our sort of material. I mean, one of our songs was a top 5 record there last year.
What was that?
By a group called Quiet Riot, Come On Feel the Noise.
Oh, yeah.
And we've just been over in New York, actually, to sign a new deal for ourselves last week.
Do you regret the trip to America in the first place, which led to your disappearing?
No, we needed to do it. You know, it was a thing that the band needed to do. We knew we were getting stale, and we needed to get that fight back and get the adrenaline flowing, and it worked. I think that's one of the reasons that we stayed together, you know.
And of course, one thing that's kept you in the public eye year after year is Merry Christmas, Everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's an absolute classic, that.
Yeah, well, it's always a killer for us.
Active in this video, which you can see this Saturday morning on Data Run.
At the tender age of 3, I was hooked to a machine.
Hi, it's video time coming up, and we've got Noddy Holder here, and because we're frightened of getting punched in the nose, we're going to play a Slade video in a minute. Tell us about this number. It's quite a barrel of laughs, isn't it, to watch it?
Yeah, we always wanted to do a jig with the old violin going and that, and me and Jimmy had written this number. And we
Who is a
decided-
violinist, isn't he?
Yeah,
basically?
he was a classically trained when he
Yes.
was a youngster.
Yeah.
He hasn't been practicing much lately. You can't really tell on the record, but he's a bit ropey
Yeah.
at the moment. But we decided to go in and put like a sort of rock beat behind
Scottish
an
jig.
old Scottish jig.
Yeah, and you did it near Worcester, didn't you?
We filmed the video at East Nor Castle.
Is that the
just
sort of
outside
castle that's
Worcester.
just near the motorway? 'Cause
Yes,
one I always
just right,
drive
yeah.
past it. I
It's
thought I
got
recognised.
daffodils in it.
Yes.
That's right, it's
Daffodil
just off the
picking at
motorway.
East
Yeah.
Nor.
It's lit up at night. It looks
That's
great.
right.
And you had a sort of fairly interesting experience one night, didn't you, staying in a hotel down there?
Well, the night before we filmed the video, we'd got to all be up at 6 o'clock in the morning to make an early start, dawn shooting and all that. And we had the fire alarms at the hotel went off twice during the night, so nobody got any sleep. It went off about 2:30 and 4:30.
That's great. Except Dave Hill, didn't he sleep through the lot?
He slept through the lot, yeah, he always does.
It's wonderful what booze does, isn't it? Anyway,
He
look-
don't drink, David. he
Doesn't he?
No.
Anyway, will you look at that camera there and say, here comes Run, Run Away?
Here comes Slade with Run, Runaway.
Thank you.
Black and white, dreamy black and white. You like black and white, run, run away. See chameleon lying there in the sun. All things to everyone, run, run away. If you're in the swing, money and everything. If you're in the swing, run, run away. See chameleon lying there in the sun. All things to everyone, run, run away. Whoa! If you got a crush, don't leave out the bush. When I got a crush, run, run away. See chameleon lying there in the sun. All things to everyone, run, run away. Whoa! Oh, now can't you wait? Run, run, come on and play. Oh, now can't you wait? Run, run away. See that chameleon lying there in the sun. All things to everyone, run, run away. Whoa!
What an unruly bunch of thugs.
I think we're quite sensible and soberly conservative.
I must say, you always look as though you really enjoy it.
We
actually
do, we
playing
do,
music.
yeah. We wouldn't do it, I don't think, if we didn't enjoy it.
Not for 18
We
years.
still get
anyway.
the kick out of it.
Can I just see that thing hanging from your left ear, please?
Pardon?
Come on, can we show this wonderful earring? A nice musical touch.
Lovely.
Go on, Annie, with your classical music background. Tell us what they are.
Oh, come on, I can't do this because he said to me earlier, are they two semiquavers? And I had to think. Yes, they are, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
But they do equal
Great, aren't they?
a crotchet for anyone.
Right. Anyway, let's not get crotchety now, because Wincey's coming on with the weather.
I thought she was going to be speaking of crotchets, but yeah, great, okay. Well, if that video hasn't got you going this morning, nothing will. Mind, you've got to be careful if you're going to the Midlands and the north of England there. Fog around again. thick fog in many places, dense freezing fog for some people, so it's not very pleasant at all. South of the country, a bit more in the way of sunshine this morning. Over on the west of Wales, western England, all of Scotland and Northern Ireland, a cloudy start today with drizzly